Good evening. It's been 2 weeks of worry and pain for Sharon Litschitz from Walthamstow ever since her elderly parents were taken by Hamas terrorists in Israel and held hostage in Gaza. But today there was some light when she was reunited with her 85-year-old mother, one of 2 hostages who were released from captivity overnight. Sharon spoke of her relief that her mother had been reunited home safe and well. But she says she'll remain focused on trying to get her father back too. With the latest, here's our correspondent, Simon Harris.
For 17 days, Yocheved Lifshitz and her family have lived through an unimaginable ordeal. They didn't know if the 85-year-old was dead or alive, but last night the Hamas terrorists holding her prisoner handed her over along with another elderly hostage. A moment of unbelievable joy for her daughter Sharon from East London.
My mom is back from Gaza. She's a wonderful woman and we are so delighted to have her. She is a ray of light in our life, in a big darkness. This is wonderful.
In an extraordinary gesture, Yocheved can be heard saying shalom to her captors, the Hebrew for peace. Remarkably, she was strong enough to talk to reporters at a news conference where her daughter translated her words.
My mom said that she was treated well and that the people were kind to her. When she first arrived, they told them that they are Muslims and they're not going to hurt them, and that they ate the same food that the Hamas was eating.
The release of Yocheved Lifshitz offered a glimmer of hope to other families waiting for news of their loved ones. Ada Sagi, who's 75, hasn't been seen since the terrorist raid on her kibbutz on October the 7th. Her son Noam lives in London.
We live in a world of lists. That is our life right now. We have a dead list, we have the injured list, we have the rescued list, we have the missing list, we have the kidnapped list, and now we have 4 people on the released list, the shortest list of them all.
While Yocheved Lifshitz is free, her husband is still a prisoner.
My mom and my dad were separated at the very beginning, and so we do not know from my mom's story what happened to my dad. We do know that he was injured.
Yocheved Lifshitz was held with 25 other hostages. She's described her prison as a spider web of tunnels.
So, Simon, Mrs. Lifshitz says she was treated really well, but that's not the whole story, is it?
Yes, as a hostage she was given food and medicines, even shampoo and conditioner, but her initial capture sounds far more brutal. She says she was slung across the back of a motorbike, driven over rough ground and beaten with sticks. And this, remember, is a woman of 85.
And just moving back here, there's been an update, hasn't there, on the tube driver who was yesterday suspended by TfL?
Yes, on Saturday, a Central Line driver was recorded encouraging passengers to chant Free Palestine before the big march in London.
Free Palestine! Hope you will have a blessed day today. Look after
Yesterday, a driver was suspended by Transport for London, but the drivers' union, ASLEF, has hit back, accusing TfL of overreacting by calling in the police. Well, earlier I spoke to the mayor.
It appears there's been a breach of TfL policies and procedures. That's why the driver's been suspended.
Should he be sacked?
Well, there's a full investigation taking place. It's really important. We don't prejudice the outcome of that investigation and the disciplinary hearing.
TfL isn't saying how long this investigation will take or, assuming managers have identified the correct driver, what sanctions or punishment he might face.
OK, Simon, for now, thank you.
Good evening. London's mayor has joined those condemning a group of people who were seen removing Israeli hostage posters from several locations across the capital. One of the incidents happened in Leicester Square last night, but the Met Police concluded that no criminal offence took place. Well, the decision has caused anger, with some saying it is a hate crime and should be investigated. A warning, you may find some of the images in Simon Harris's report upsetting.
A woman rips a poster from a wooden hoarding in the West End. She seems to be objecting to pictures of some of the missing hostages kidnapped by Hamas in Israel on October the 7th. And she's not alone. This video was filmed in Leicester Square by a journalist from Jewish News who was on a night out.
I was completely flabbergasted and lost for words, but I automatically intervened. I was asking simply why she was doing this, why these three people were doing it, and what the purpose was.
What happened in Leicester Square was not a one-off.
This is for Palestine.
These two women were challenged as they attacked posters outside Mornington Crescent tube station.
Okay, what about the children in Palestine?
In recent days, an increasing number of similar videos have appeared on social media. They often involve confrontations.
Stop taking down, they're innocent civilians.
The mayor said the attacks on the posters were inexplicable.
What families and the Londoners are trying to do is keep those hostages in the public eye. It's as simple as that. And also to remind people there are still more than 200 hostages taken by Hamas. What I'd say to those who are tearing these posters down is stop it. There is no reason at all to tear these posters down. They're doing no harm.
In Leicester Square, all of the posters had gone today. Westminster Council said it was taking a sensitive approach and moving some posters which have been defaced. Scotland Yard said it was aware of the video from Leicester Square, but as far as the police are concerned, no criminal offences have been identified. That's not the view of Susan Hall, the Conservative candidate for mayor. In a statement, she said, "This is nothing short of a hate crime and the Met must urgently take action on this. The division and toxicity we are seeing in our city over this conflict should concern us all, and much more needs to be done to bring Londoners back together. If nothing else, the actions of some Londoners are causing distress to others."
I was on the verge of tears. I was with some friends who were actually in tears. It felt like suddenly the Jewish community was in a way under siege. Now, I know that's not the case. I know we have huge support from government, from the opposition, from the Mayor of London.
The pictures of the missing hostages were meant as a reminder to keep their memory alive. Instead, they became a target. The Met says it will continue what it calls reassurance patrols in the West End.
Simon, understandable fury there, and members of London's Jewish community are putting pressure on police, aren't they now?
Yes, there is concern in some parts of London's Jewish community about how the police judge what is and isn't a hate crime. Well, tonight, the campaign against anti-Semitism has appealed to Londoners of all faiths to take part in a demonstration outside New Scotland Yard on the Embankment. It's due to start in about half an hour. And it's not just about the defacing of posters and removal of posters. At the weekend, there was a pro-Palestinian march in London where the words jihad were heard being shouted. And again, the police decided that no criminal offence had taken place. In contrast, Scotland Yard is taking a very different approach to a defaced poster in North London. It's on a bus stop on the Finchley Road, and it shows two 3-year-old children who've been taken hostage by Hamas. It's been defaced by somebody applying a toothbrush moustache to the two children. The symbolism is obvious. Well, in that case, the police have said it is being investigated as a hate crime.
All right, Simon, thank you.
Good evening. There is anger in Tower Hamlets tonight over a decision to remove around 40 Palestinian flags that have been attached to lampposts through Bethnal Green and Bow. Concerns were first raised to the police after videos were posted on social media, but now Transport for London and the local council have stepped in to take them down to maintain public infrastructure. But one local councillor has been telling our political correspondent Simon Harris the flags are in no way offensive and should be kept up.
On a 2-mile stretch of main road through the East End, Palestinian flags were flying from lampposts. We counted almost 40. This is Bow Road, the A11, where streetlights are the responsibility of Transport for London. Overnight, TfL took down the flags after members of the public expressed concerns to the police on social media.
I see them when they're probably not long after they were put up, and I just could not believe that they were up for the amount of time that they were.
They should be there. The flags should be there. Yeah, we should stand for Palestine.
Do you think the flags should have been allowed to stay?
Yes, because it's freedom. It's big freedom.
Other streets in this part of East London, like Cambridge Heath Road in Bethnal Green, come under Tower Hamlets Council, and here flags were still flying today. There were also a handful in Brick Lane. Whoever put up the flags went to a great deal of trouble. They're all attached in the same way, with cable ties at approximately the same height, and it would almost certainly have needed a mechanical hoist. Tower Hamlets has a large Muslim community, and there's widespread support for the Palestinian cause. TfL suggested the flags were taken down because they were unauthorised, but a member of the local Jewish community said their presence was more sinister.
It seemed absolutely intimidating, and this is on public street furniture. Public street furniture is for everybody. Somebody organised this, but I was very, very pleased to see that the local authorities got together. The police, for once, issued an instruction of something to do, and it was undertaken.
A spokesperson for the Met said police would not tolerate anyone inciting violence, but added an expression of support for the Palestinian people more broadly, including flying the Palestinian flag, does not alone constitute a criminal offence. However, there are some situations where the presence of a flag or banner or the use of specific words or phrases could be seen as intimidation. It's a fine line.
The issue that's happening in the Middle East with Gaza, the humanitarian crisis that's happening right now, a lot of people feel passionately about what's going on. They're calling for a ceasefire, and the flags are in line with what's happening, and they want to be able to participate and show how they feel and what they want their politicians to do.
Tonight, Tower Hamlets Council said it was monitoring the situation closely. Simon Harris, ITV News, Whitechapel.